everybody, so you probably already know me specifically in regards to me sharing my story on LinkedIn and different platforms, but today I'm just going to go into the nitty-gritty of in regards to my own story, and this is Draw My Life with myself, Jonathan Javier. So I was born in January 20th, 1995 in a small hospital in Garden Grove. I only stayed in Garden Grove for a few months actually, before moving to the place I called home, which was Downey, California. My mom and dad, they took care of me. My mom is actually a nurse, and that's how she was able to actually come here to the States. She's been actually the only person who's worked in my family for the longest time, and she is the hardest worker I have ever known. And she's actually the one who's motivated me in regards to my own career to keep on going and to be the best that I can be, not only for myself, but for my family. And then there's my dad. My dad's the one who's actually the stay-at-home dad. He's the one who taught me everything in regards to sports, specifically basketball. Now, basketball is something that I hold close to my heart because it's what got me through all the ups and downs, especially during middle school and high school. When I was in middle school, I wasn't the coolest kid. I honestly was an outcast, and I was introverted, surprisingly, because right now you can consider me as an extrovert. I had so much acne that I never could even look at myself in the mirror, and I thought I was never good enough. And I remember people would look at me, and I'd be so conscious of how I looked rather than how I felt. I wanted these pills called Accutane that helped me get rid of that acne and helped me gain the confidence that was necessary to become the person I was meant to be. I had great memories in high school. I played basketball, track, cross country, football, all these different sports at a school that was known for their sports. But I still remember I wasn't even getting playing time, especially playing basketball. And I thought to myself, am I good enough? And I was good enough. And then I was going to go apply to college. I wanted to go to either UCLA or UCI, two of the colleges that I aspired to get into because my friends wanted to go there as well. I still remember sending in the application, and all my friends did too. And my friends were getting interviews. Everyone was getting them except me. And I simply waited, and I got that email in my inbox giving an update in regards to my status. And that status was ultimately declined by both UCLA and UCI. And I remember I went home and I was crying because I thought I wasn't good enough yet again. But I did get into UC Riverside specifically for the honors program. So I decided to go there. College was an amazing experience. My first year in college, I honestly didn't know what to do. And I met a lot of my good best friends there. Vincent Ma, Frank, Ryan, all these friends that would become my best friends even when I graduated. But my first year, I was really distracted. Distracted because I remember I wouldn't put my studies first and I wouldn't be networking with anybody. I was just a lost kid who was figuring his life out. But he was with the wrong crowd, a crowd that didn't focus on their careers, rather on things that didn't need time to be allocated to. That's when I changed. I changed after my first and second year. I remember I was getting like a 2.8 GPA. I instead joined many different student organizations. I joined ALPHA, the Association of Latino Professionals for America, and Associated Students of UC Riverside, specifically ASUCR, our student government. And I worked on so many different projects to help students in regards to their careers. The crazy part, everybody, is this. I didn't even have a job lined up. But I was actually helping every single person get to where they wanted to be and achieve their dreams and make it into a reality, except my own. My own dream was to work at a Deloitte or a Goldman Sachs because that's what society deemed was a good company to work for. I actually got rejected by both of them. I remember I flew out to Goldman Sachs twice, specifically in Salt Lake City, Utah. I absolutely bombed it. And then they called me back again the next week, and I was extremely excited because I was like, how are they gonna call me twice in a row and fly me out twice? They're not gonna reject me. When in fact, I did it again and still rejected. But as I always say, rejection is simply redirection as long as you react to it in the right way. And so what I did was instead of using that as unmotivating factors, I utilized it as intrinsic motivation. I told myself that I'd be the best that I could be, not only for myself, but to inspire generations around me in regards to non-target schools and non-traditional backgrounds, and that's exactly what I did. I strived to work in the big tech companies coming from a non-target, non-traditional background, and I did it because I took a chance. I didn't focus on the negatives that happened to me rather than the positives. Every single day, I would have a coffee chat with a new person, a new professional who was in my dream company. I learned from them, I wrote it in Google Docs, etc., and I made sure that I was prepared for when I got the time to interview, I would crush it. I would send 100 connection requests every single week, hundreds of messages, because I wanted to get into my career so badly. I remember walking down the aisle with cap and gown in hand, and I was about to graduate. I didn't even have a job lined up. But I knew for a fact that when I graduated, I wanted to help people. I put others first, and at the end of the day, I knew that things would come back in regards to helping myself. And so I got that chance when I reached out to a recruiter from Snapchat. The first time I reached out to the recruiter, she actually ignored me. I didn't get a message. This was in March 2017. I was like, okay, I'm gonna stay in touch. I sent another message in June. She didn't respond again. And then I decided one more time in August I would send another message, and then she responded. She responded, and I got that one chance, and I absolutely crushed it during that phone interview. During that phone interview, she moved me on to the final round, which was in person. I knew I had to go all out, so what I did was I went to Dollar Tree, bought a yellow folder because Snapchat is yellow. I made a business project in class utilizing geolocation, which is what Snapchat used, and put it all those different things with my resumes and my business cards into a yellow folder. The yellow folder, I brought it to the interview and I absolutely crushed it. I had a case interview and it was exactly what I did in the business project. The two hiring managers, after presenting it to them, they asked me, Jonathan, how did you know our whole entire system? I looked at them and I went under my chair. I pulled out the yellow folder from the chair and I said, I've utilized your whole entire system utilizing geolocation technology in my past projects. The two hiring managers looked at each other and they smiled. And 30 minutes later, I got the fastest offer that I would be able to ever get. Working at Snapchat was fun. It was a startup culture with a lot of people, specifically from the LA area, which I thoroughly enjoyed. We even had a holiday party where Drake and Diplo came on New Year's Eve. It was amazing. But what happened was, only 8 months in, unfortunately, our team got outsourced. Another rejection, but as I said before, all the time, rejection is simply redirection, right? And what I did was, instead of focusing on the negativity and focusing on the failures, I told myself I'd never fail if I never stopped trying. And what I did was I made a LinkedIn post talking about how my team got outsourced. I was the only one who made this post. And I said I was looking forward to my next opportunity. Can anybody help? Little did I know that that cry for help was a cry for joy. Recruiters and hiring managers reaching out to me saying, Jonathan, we'd love for you to come and work at our company and interview. I decided to go and work at Google. I worked at Google for almost a year and a half. It was an amazing opportunity. I worked specifically on different operations pieces for different teams. I was involved a lot with ERGs. I did a talk at Google specifically with one of the Asian actors, Joel de la Fuente, and a LinkedIn top voice, Goldie Chan. It was great. But the thing was, when I was there, I looked around me and I saw that there weren't a lot of people that looked like me and nor came from my background, and that is the reason why I decided to start Wonsulting, which mission is to turn underdogs into winners and bridge the gap between non-target school students and non-traditional backgrounds to help them get into their dream careers. The big name companies, the Googles, the Facebooks, the Goldman Sachs, the Deloittes of the world, it was meant to bridge the gap between them because I wanted more people who looked like me and came from my background. After Google, I stayed there for a year and a half, but I got a better opportunity specifically at Cisco. Cisco helped me a lot because I worked a lot in regards to being remote, but I could balance both Cisco and Wonsulting. I was very involved with the go-to-market strategy and operations over there, as well as the different resource groups, including early career. I made a LinkedIn post, I remember, and Jeff Weiner liked and shared it, and all of the people at Cisco actually pretty much knew me. I even got chosen to speak for Great Place to Work. Great Place to Work, which is one of the biggest conferences in the tech industry. Cisco was ranked one of the highest companies to work for, and I was to be one of the speakers. I liked corporate, but I loved entrepreneurship, and that's why I left Cisco to start Wonsulting full-time. Wonsulting full-time has been a blessing. It's been something that I've always strived and dreamed for ever since day one. I've done 170 plus workshops and speaking engagements at companies including Google, LinkedIn HQ, Lyft, TEDx, Great Place to Work, EA, Microsoft, all these different companies. And the crazy part is 99% of them, I never even reached out to any person to do them because I was active on LinkedIn, and that's why I encourage so many different people to post on LinkedIn, because you never know what opportunities will come about, especially when utilizing a platform where so many professionals, recruiters, and hiring managers utilize. I lost friends, but I gained them, but that's the reality of life. But the thing is, do you focus on the people that don't like you or the people who do? I think what happens in today's society is that we focus on the ones who don't like us. We focus on the 1% of people who don't like us, and we try to make them like us, when in fact we should focus on the 99% of people who do. And now, Wonsulting has grown tremendously to over hundreds of thousands of community members. I've been able to travel to so many different countries, here in the United States, in Canada, I've spoken in Nigeria. All of these different places have led me to be who I am today. One thing I'd say at the end of this is, if you work hard, and you always keep at it, you'll get to where you want to be. Always remember to ask for help, because the worst thing that can happen is simply someone says no. Last but not least, which I've been talking about throughout this whole entire video, is that rejection is redirection as long as you react to it in the right way. Whenever I got rejected from different companies, from Forbes 30 Under 30 as a finalist, I looked at it as the beginning. The world is your oyster. Take it in your hands and go into the world and make a difference. Because when you make a difference, you turn from an underdog into a winner.